What 5 states have had the most home price appreciation over the last 30 plus years? By the end of this video, you'll not only know that, you'll know what makes home values appreciate over the long term. So let's take a rare look at home price appreciation since 1991, and we're going to do that on a state-by-state basis. Now, most times that you hear about real estate appreciation rates, it's simply on a year-over-year basis, but Visual Capitalist shared with us, lots of credit to them, a nice color-coded map of state-by-state U.S. home price appreciation since 1991. Yeah, so over the last 31 plus years then. So let's break this down and talk about some of these states. As a nation, since 1991, do you have any guess as to what percent home prices have appreciated? And we're just talking single-family homes here. The cumulative percent appreciation is 275% over those 31 years. Now, to annualize that, you can't just take 275 and divide it by 31 years. That would give you around 9%, but you can't do that because it wouldn't account for compounding, so it's under 9% per annum nationally. All right, let's see which states had some of the highest and lowest appreciation rates over the last 31 years. So again, these are single-family homes since 1991. First, a couple notable ones. California has the 13th most appreciation of any state since 1991 at 311%. So Cali is in the top third, even though a lot of people like to make fun of it for a lot of reasons. Now, it's not a state for long-term real estate cash flow, but it is the most populous state with 40 million people in it. It's really significant. Working our way toward the top, toward the states with the most appreciation, another notable one is Tennessee, because it is such a popular investor state. It came in 12th with 317% appreciation. Memphis, Chattanooga, and some other areas have good cash flow. And you'll note that I'm just rounding these percentages to the nearest whole number. So here are those top 10. The 10th most appreciation is in Wyoming. 9th is Florida with 389% appreciation. So much in-migration into Florida for decades. Florida has both noteworthy domestic and international in-migration. 8th is Arizona. And again, what we're looking at here is the ranking of states that have had the most single-family home price appreciation from 1991 until today. The 7th most appreciation has been in Washington State. Numbers 6, 5, and 4 are also in the northwestern quadrant of the U.S. They're in Idaho, Oregon, and Montana. Yeah, it's pretty plain to see how much of the orange color is up there in that area, representing high appreciation. And you know, what these states are really doing is satisfying Americans' craving for wide open spaces. There's also been a class of billionaires more recently that have bought resort homes and ranches in the Intermountain West and kind of that northwest quadrant of the United States that's led to a lot of this appreciation. Number 3 is Washington, D.C. with its 556% appreciation. Ah, yes, government just expands, doesn't it? D.C.'s housing supply is also rather fixed. That fixed supply, or relatively fixed supply. They can't build too much there, so that's another reason for the run-up. It's easier for demand to exceed supply. Number 2 is Colorado. And number 1, the highest home price appreciation in the last 30 plus years, it's another Intermountain West state, and it's one of my favorite U.S. states to visit with all of its great national parks there in the southern part of the state. It's the state known as the Beehive State. And you know what? Number 1 is also the state where I left my Pennsylvania college for a year during my sophomore year and did a 1-year national student exchange program in this state. And that is, as you might have found it on the map by now, the state of Utah with 599% cumulative single-family home price appreciation over the last 31 years. So you have 6x'd your dollars in Utah. But we got to be a little careful. You haven't necessarily 6x'd your prosperity here, because there's nothing about inflation-adjusted dollars as beautiful and as colorful as this map is here. So it's nominal dollars, but it still gives you this apples-to-apples comparison state to state. What about the worst? The worst 5 states for appreciation during this time period are Delaware in 47th place with 183% appreciation, and then trending worse and worse. 48th place for appreciation is in West Virginia. 49th is Mississippi. Next is Illinois, which is home of America's 3rd largest city of Chicago. And the 51st best, which is the worst, and there are 51 since we're including DC here. And you know, I'm a little surprised that this one I'm about to tell you about is ranked dead last. I mean, I thought it could be below average, but surely not the worst, or really even that close to the worst. And this is a fairly meaningful number when you're looking at over 3 decades of housing market vibrancy and prosperity. This is significant. This state is known as the Nutmeg State, but it's probably better known by its more popular nickname, the Constitution State. And I know that was on its license plate for quite a while anyway. And you know, the surprise here is that it includes Fairfield County, this state's southwesternmost county of this lowest appreciation state, because this area has bedroom communities of the most prosperous place probably in all of American history, and it has a high population density with appreciation of just 137% since 1991. Yes, we're talking about Connecticut, and I was referencing its proximity to New York City. Yeah, Connecticut even lost the Hartford Whalers NHL team in that time. Factors that dictate what an area's long-term home price appreciation rate will be includes desirability to live there, which is often, but not always, affected by things like net in-migration. Birth rates can affect this too. High birth rates are one factor in Utah, for example. Appreciation is also affected by future development plans, tax policy, zoning law, climate, and a whole lot of other supply and demand factors. And one general trend in the past 30 years is movement to the west and south. 100 years ago, an air conditioner was just not a common household fixture. It hadn't been invented for very long at that time. So even the mainstream adoption of inexpensive air conditioners, that helped turn a place like Florida from humid and swampy to filled in pads with gravel that you could put an air-conditioned home on top of. And of course, the desert Southwest got a big livability boost with air conditioners. Now, the Pacific Northwest, that got a boost for a lot of reasons, notably the location of high-paying, fast-growing companies there like Amazon, Microsoft, UPS, Boeing, and Costco. Visual capitalists got their data from this map from the FHFA. Methodology is average price changes in repeat sales on the same property so that you know just what I'm telling you about here. And then, of course, within each state, there's variable price appreciation across that state, and even variation across one state's county, and even across one city or town in one state. There are variable appreciation rates. I mean, just take New York State. The cultural and other differences between, say, Midtown Manhattan and the Adirondacks region upstate, that is really stark. So there's a rare look at long-term home price appreciation in the United States. Hey, you can listen to me every week on the Get Rich Education audio podcast for how to build durable, responsible wealth through real estate investing. I'd love to read your YouTube comment on your thoughts on home price appreciation where you live, so please leave a comment and leave a like if you approve of this video. I'm Keith Weinhold. I'll see you next time.